level, we're going to see a House bill. So here we are now, 6 months later, we have a House bill. And I really applaud that effort, but at the end of the day, is it needed? It's not needed. There's a process in place, and go through the Charter Review Commission. If there is a need right now for the county to do this, I personally, like you heard from my colleague, would bring it up myself. We did that with term limits a few years ago. There's no need for this. And I ask you today to recognize our own delegation split on this whole issue. I'm sure you've heard about that. Local bills should bring the community together, not divide it. So I ask you to vote no today. Thank you.
Matt Caldwell. Sir, you're recognized.
Well, first of all, Mr. Chair, congratulations. You've had a lot of talk about staff today, but you have the most excellent staff in the Florida House, I can guarantee that. Good to see State Affairs Committee in excellent hands. And goodness, all the testimony that's been given so far, we could unpack a great deal of things. We could start with the fact that the at-large system of elections would not exist in Florida if it were not for efforts to suppress minority voters. They were created in 1901 with one explicit purpose. That was to keep black voters from exercising their vote and influencing the outcome of elections in this state. And the fight to repeal them anywhere and everywhere for the last century has been taken up by many, many people, including the folks in Lee County. You heard discussion that nobody wants single-member districts. Well, Lee County voters have twice been asked in a legitimate election, in a general election, what do they think of at-large versus single-member? In 1984, when the state voted on repealing that 1901 constitutional amendment, Lee County voted 57% in favor of repealing the at-large mandate for county commissions. When they were asked in 2014, did they want to take their school board to 5 single and 2 at large, they voted 55% in favor of that. I can assure you that when this goes to a referendum, it's going to pass north of 60% because the voters of Lee County want to see this reform occur on their commission. We do have a Charter Review Commission. I served on it. Former member Ray Rodriguez served with me back in 2006-08. That commission has sat 5 times. In those 5 times, the only one that has ever even proposed a single thing to the ballot was the one that myself and Chancellor Rodriguez served on 20 years ago. But this issue has been debated in previous cycles and has come within a single vote of going forward. Now you would say, oh, well, that's just the way it goes. You may not realize that you need a 4/5 majority under our charter review process in order to send something to the ballot. Quite a high threshold. I don't think there's a single thing this body votes on that requires a 4/5 majority in order to move it forward to the voters. It is a rigged and broken process. In fact, we had the votes in 2016, and then 2 members of that committee and commission were intimidated by sitting commissioners in order to flip their vote and prevent this from going forward. I wish you didn't have to vote on this. It should have gone to the voters in 2016 from the Charter Review Commission, and it was not allowed to because of interference by the board directly preventing it from happening. Many, many, many other things that we could discuss, but I'll leave you with these 2 thoughts. The position of the opponents here today is that I, as a resident of District 4, do not know who I should choose as my representative, but in fact that the other 4 districts should choose them for me. That's not an esoteric thing. It's not some kind of flight of fancy. In fact, 14 times in the last 40 years, the district has been denied the choice of their person. This is consistent across time, that the district gets denied the ability to choose who they want to have represent them. And in a county that is now larger than the congressional district, this is no small matter. The county legislature requires a more conservative effort in order to be achieved than even running for Congress. But lastly, in what you actually are being asked to vote on today, because you really aren't deciding whether you like single-member districts, whether you like at-large districts, whether you agree with any of my analysis about any of these issues. The only thing you're being asked is whether or not the voters of Lee County ought to decide this question for themselves. The opponents of this bill believe that not only do I not have the good sense to choose my own representative on my county legislature, but in fact, I do not have the good sense to even decide whether I should get to decide that question. They want to deny us the ability to even make that choice. So I ask you very, very much with deep and warm respect to vote yes on this bill today. Thank you very much.
Armor